Alrighty, so today is the day. As you guys probably saw, Modern Warfare 4 got revealed, and not only did we get a teaser trailer, but we got some blog posts as well. Before we get into talking about all of it, I do just want to state that I am recording this relatively early into this whole teaser cycle. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of accounts posting new information, maybe some clips, some gameplay, and there's also a ton of channels out there that actually got access to playing Modern Warfare 4 that have their opinions on it placed on YouTube. So I highly recommend checking out a lot of those Twitter accounts that are kind of keeping people updated on the game, as well as checking out some of the content creators that were actually able to go ahead and play the game, just so you can get their opinions as well. What I'm doing here is just kind of briefly going over everything in the blog post, some of the stuff that I thought was important, and overall just yapping about Call of Duty. One thing I do want to note before we start is I won't be talking too much about DMZ or campaign, mainly because I have no experience in DMZ and I'm not a big extraction shooter guy, and for the campaign I have been out of the loop for a little bit now on the Modern Warfare campaigns, but I do have a way to kind of reintroduce myself to this whole story going on that we'll talk about in the video. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching another video, and I hope you enjoy. First things first was the initial teaser that we got today. We wound up getting these little clips of gameplay, traversing through some urban environment, I believe in Korea, and we saw these soldiers, and it was a really cool just display of graphics as well as just fluidity in the game. A lot of people were saying that it looked like Modern Warfare 2019, and I have to agree, this game looks like Modern Warfare 2019. Now, if you guys don't know, I hate Modern Warfare 2019, but I will say the one thing that I liked about it was its campaign and its graphics, and so far it looks like those kind of themes and those graphics have carried through. I was going to sit here and watch through the entire teaser trailer with you guys, but I don't know how copyright around Call of Duty and all that works, so I'm going to leave that for you guys to watch. But just know that similar to every other Call of Duty marketing campaign, this teaser was absolutely fantastic, and dude, they do it every year. Every year it's always like such a captivating experience that drums up so much hype. So it was a great teaser trailer, definitely check it out. But what I'm more focused on looking at is this right here, the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 blog posts. War erupts on the Korean peninsula as North Korea launches a full-scale invasion that threatens to destabilize the world of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. A young squad of South Korean soldiers fight to survive on the collapsing front lines, while half a world away, a vengeful Captain Price wages a personal war from the shadows as he stays one step ahead of those hunting him. As Price's off-book mission collides with the forces behind the invasion, the war spreads beyond anyone's control. Ooh, what a interesting way to set this up. The campaign drops players into trench warfare in Korea, close quarters combat in New York, high octane chases through Paris, SAS night raids in Mumbai, and a citywide assault to reclaim occupied territory. Multiplayer delivers grounded, precise combat with fluid movement, player choice, greater control to find every engagement. In DMZ, players operate as an off-the-books asset behind enemy lines, where every deployment into contested territory forces hard choices about which objects to pursue, what to secure, and when to get out. I can't believe this came out of nowhere. There were some rumors and some teasers kind of coming together to announce Modern Warfare 4, but I was not expecting all of this information on one day. So I'm going to go through the blog post here, as well as some stuff that I read over on Twitter, and just kind of give you guys my thoughts on Modern Warfare 4 so far. Now, I will give a quick disclaimer about campaign. I'm going to say some things that I'm excited for with campaign, but in terms of the overall theme and story, I don't know a lot. I believe I finished the Modern Warfare 2019 campaign, but I didn't do the Modern Warfare 2022 campaign or the Modern Warfare 2023 campaign. So I'm a little bit disconnected from the storyline so far since they've revamped it, but I am planning on doing a long marathon stream where I play through every single Call of Duty campaign up until the release of Modern Warfare 4. So stay tuned for that. We're definitely going to give a big recap on that, but I do want to touch on a few things with campaign that I noted. One thing that I noted about the campaign from reading through this is that you're going to be able to play the campaign offline. Thank you. Before we even get into talking about the game at all, that is such a huge win. If you guys don't know, a lot of these campaigns and a lot of these single player games do actually require online connection, which means that if there's a server or something that they're connected to, if they take that server down, you don't have access to that offline mode anymore. Obviously for multiplayer it makes sense, you know, you need servers up so people can play online, but for Call of Duty, the campaign and zombies usually were like the offline modes that you got to hang out with your friends. Say you didn't have an online subscription service or whatever the case was, you were still able to play that. And there's actually an initiative going on, I believe, over in Europe or England and also here in the States that is trying to combat some of these, you know, anti-consumer things that these companies are setting up. Like, hey, it's a single player game, but you have to play online. And if we don't feel like keeping servers up anymore, goodbye, kiss your game goodbye, but we're going to keep your $70. So I'm happy to see that Call of Duty will have an offline playable campaign. That means so much to me. I hope that gaming kind of keeps trending in that direction. Of course, I don't know if they're going to flip a switch later on and be like, well, actually, you have to have it online now, or whatever the case is. But being able to play that offline is phenomenal. So two big, huge thumbs up for that. That's awesome. But yeah, as you guys can see here from the photos, like the game looks fantastic. I think the campaign is going to be spectacular. The motto for the campaign is "No line holds forever." I'm assuming that is in relation to what happens with Captain Price at the end of the Modern Warfare 3 campaign. Again, I don't know too much about that campaign story, but I have been filled in a little bit on some stuff that has happened, just, you know, perusing through Twitter. But I will go back and play those campaigns in order to stay up to date on this story, so I can give you guys a better analysis of the campaign, and hopefully they stick to story. Obviously, we got to see that Captain Price and Ghost are returning, but for the most part, I think a lot of our characters are actually new or just unnamed soldiers so far that we're going to have to learn about in the campaign, which is really exciting. As you guys can see here from these photos as well, it looks like our characters are going to be all over the place. They are in a ton of different environments here. Like I mentioned, the teaser trailer, I believe, took place in Korea, so we got a bunch of different landscapes and locations, which are really cool. I also believe that I read here in the campaign that it's going to be a pretty classic campaign. Now, in my opinion, that means that it's level based and not things like open world aspects and stuff like that. Of course, we'll have to see how that plays out, but I would love a more classic level based campaign. I think those are the best. Another thing worth noting about the campaign is in the teaser trailer, I believe there's a little bit of trench warfare gameplay, which a lot of the community was excited about, maybe aiding in some stealth missions, some high octane missions. It looks like we're going to get a big diversity of different missions, themes, and locations, which I always love about the campaigns, and I hope that they continue through with the story, because so far it seems like the reception on this new revamped story in this Modern Warfare 2019 storyline is pretty positive, so I hope they stick the landing on that. Again, I don't have too much to say about campaign because I'm not updated with the story, but once I do go back and play through all of them, hopefully I have enough time to reflect and kind of talk about what my expectations are for the Modern Warfare 4 story, but so far so good. Now, getting into multiplayer, this is what I am really excited to talk about, because there's a ton of changes in here that are really good. There's some that I think are okay. Like I said before, you can definitely read through this whole blog post yourself, but I pulled out some stuff that I specifically want to talk about, and we can see it down here. The first one is movement. So I have a little sticky note here writing down some of the things that I was excited about in multiplayer. Coming up first is the no Omni movement. We got used to it in Black Ops 7 and a little bit in Black Ops 6, but they are removing Omni movement from this game. Allegedly, the movement feels more like Modern Warfare 3's movement with the Modern Warfare 2019 look and graphics to it, which is pretty good. I love Modern Warfare 3 as a game. I thought Sledgehammer did great. So if there's faster movement speeds, I'm all for it. Another thing worth noting is that there is map voting back, as well as minimap and classic red dots. I'm happy to see that that stuck, because I was really worried that they were going to pull a Modern Warfare 2019 and, you know, launch the game without those things. So I'm happy to see that that's back. I know I mentioned movement as well. There are some changes coming to that. I believe there's a difference in some mantling. I believe if you're holding onto ledges, you can now scale across them, which could add for like some different lane variations in the multiplayer maps, or maybe some sneaky like ninja diffuse spots and stuff like that. It's also worth noting that there are some changes to slide canceling. Again, all of these things I have noted because I haven't seen them yet or actually felt them yet. Once the beta comes around, we'll definitely be able to get a better look at that. Another thing that we'll get a better look at in the beta is things like the maps. I've been seeing Charlie Intel post a little bit on Twitter showing off some map cinematics and showing off some of the multiplayer maps, and again, they look good so far. They're nice and colorful. I can kind of see the lanes and visualize it in my head, but it will be hard to get a good grasp on how those play out until the beta or the game launches. So for now, I know that they exist, but I don't have too much to say about them because I haven't played them yet. One of the last things that I wanted to talk about in regards to multiplayer is this new kill block mode. So this kind of looks like it's going to be a cool, not like third mode to the game, but an extension of multiplayer. We've seen similar things with like gunfight and stuff like that, and this kind of teeters on that same thing. You guys can see it's a 3v3 gunfight format or 10v10 experience, whichever one you want to go with, but it looks like it's a randomized location. You can see that there's over 500 distinct configurations when creating these maps, so things like lines of sights might change, speeds of the map might change because lanes are lengthened or shortened. Some might be better for some machine guns, some might be better for the ARs. It's a really cool, almost like, I don't want to say roguelike because there's not like immense upgrades that you can get in between rounds so far that I know of, but I like this randomization in the multiplayer maps. Like I said, over 500 different configurations is really cool. So I'm really excited to see how these kind of like modular maps wind up working out and seeing if people actually do wind up playing it. I love these random modes in multiplayer. You guys know some of my favorite modes ever are the party modes, things like gun game, and honestly even gunfight grew on me. I think the 2019 gunfight was probably the best or the most hype, and if this kind of comes back to that and gives like a new flavor and a new fun to it with all the different modular maps that can kind of form and be created, I'm super excited to see it. Again, this is one that we'll get a lot better of an understanding for once the game actually comes out, but so far the idea has me hooked. I'm really excited to see how it progresses throughout the game and if people wind up sticking to it. I'm certainly super excited for it, but we'll have to see. One more thing that I wanted to mention about multiplayer here, this kind of came up as I was recording, but Infinity Ward wound up posting a nice little checklist pretty much about all the main points that I covered, but some that I feel most people are going to find important as well. So obviously we get the return of theater mode, classic perks, which is fantastic. I believe that includes ninja as well, so I don't believe ninja is a field upgrade in this one, which is a nice thing that they kept from Black Ops 7. I approve on that. We got weapon build sharing as well, like we saw. An all new movement suite, we kind of talked about that a little bit so far. We only know as much as the blog posts have been telling us and as I've been reading. Until we get hands-on gameplay, I really don't know what that's going to feel like. Another thing that was nice to note is that there are destructible riot shields, and the riot shields are a field upgrade. I hate riot shields all the way through, but having riot shields as a field upgrade that's also destructible kind of sounds like a specialist instead of an operator, which I really like. I'm all for things that kind of reintroduce a specialist because I thought they were super fun in Call of Duty Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4. So overall, I think that's a great change. If you're gonna have a riot shield, treat it like a character or like a specialist, so that's good. We already talked about this as well, but no bloom, which is fantastic. Hipfire should be just a general spread, I believe. I don't think it's going to be anything weird like, you know, the bullets teeter off the further away you go. I don't exactly know how bloom works 100%, but I hear a lot of positive feedback from the community, so I'm all for that. And here's the other big one: no more last gen support. So that, you know, affects some people like me, like a lot of people that used to play on the older consoles that can't afford the newer console, but unfortunately it's something that we knew was going to happen. It happened to me when the new gens of Call of Duty came around, and if you guys haven't seen my video where I went back to the oldest gens I could and showed you guys how I played Call of Duty when they were out, I was playing Cold War on the Xbox One and everything else. It was a whole mess. I understand why they can't do this. It just really sucks with, you know, how technology's been going recently and the price that is up for demand with a lot of those consoles and PCs, but I do understand it. It's unfortunate, and hopefully this doesn't hurt anyone too much. I do know that it's coming on Switch too, which is a little bit of a friendlier budget option, so hopefully this doesn't hurt too many of the fans out there. But Call of Duty is no longer on last gen going forward. And then we mentioned this a little bit too, which was the 2 prestige paths. I wound up reading a little bit more on this since you guys saw that earlier part of the recording, so I just want to make sure I got it right. So it seems like you can classic prestige like normal, where you get to level 55 or level 50, whatever it is, reset, and then you have to re-unlock your weapons, your attachments, and all that. But the benefit of that is you actually get an XP boost. So you wind up getting an additional XP boost while you're scaling through all these prestiges and levels, whereas the other path is called regular prestige, in which you don't reset at all, but you also don't get that XP boost. So you can go from level 1 all the way up to 1000 or whatever it is in this game, and you keep your weapons and your attachments, I believe, but you don't get the additional XP. So theoretically, if you were a real grinder and you wanted to keep resetting each time, you would get to the max prestige faster because you are getting that XP boost. So like I said earlier, it's a nice way to kind of, you know, give the best of both worlds for 2 people depending on how they want to play the game. So I don't mind that too much at all. I personally would be going classic prestige all the way, but I like that there is an option for people to just kind of keep it a little bit friendlier. But other than that, that was just a quick update on what I learned so far in the middle of recording. So I apologize at this weird cut, but I just wanted to get that in there. Anyway, back to the blog. I believe we will be talking about DMZ next. And lastly, some of the biggest news to come with Modern Warfare 4 was the confirmation of DMZ. Now, this is another one similar to Campaign. I don't want to talk out of my ass here. I don't know pretty much anything about DMZ because it is an extraction shooter. I'm not a big extraction shooter / extraction mode kind of guy, but I do know that people were really excited for this DMZ update because they felt like DMZ didn't really have the strongest feet the first time around and that there was a lot more to do with it. So I'm super excited to see how this DMZ experience actually winds up, you know, working out for the community. It'd be great if people could enjoy, you know, an additional mode. I do think that there's probably going to be extraction shooters out there that'll just be better than this by default, but it's seems like they are listening and trying to make this mode better and make it, you know, what people wanted it to be in Call of Duty instead of just having it as like a throwaway third mode. This also means that there is no zombies in this, so I can sleep peacefully knowing that there is no Modern Warfare Zombies Part 2, because oh boy, I did not enjoy that at all. So yeah, overall, just a lot of good stuff coming out of this game. Like I said, similar to every other Call of Duty every year, the hype is always there and they always promise these really good things, but it's hard to kind of see how that plays out until the game actually launches. Of course, this year is no different, so we're going to have to see how that works. But so far, everything that I heard from multiplayer is pretty good. The only other thing that I guess that's interesting to note about this game is it is actually releasing on the Switch 2, and it's coming out in October. So it's a little bit earlier of a release, and it's coming on the Switch 2, which for me was super surprising. I don't know how that hardware is going to handle it, but it also means that it's not going to be ported onto the Switch. It was actively developed for that Switch. So maybe in my case, if it's actively developed for a system that's not as strong, my PC will actually be able to play the game properly, because a lot of these Call of Duties just look terrible and run pretty bad on my PC because I use some of the lowest settings. I don't know if that's going to be the case this year. We'll have to see. That also could just be a skill issue and me not setting up my game properly, but whatever the case is, it'll be interesting to see how people on the Switch wind up playing the game, and also how my PC winds up dealing with the game as well. Yeah, with that being said, that is all that I have to say about Modern Warfare 4 right now. I think the teaser trailer was super good. Now, similar to most of these rollouts, before the official trailer, there's always a ton of little updates and news that comes out, you know, usually after I get done placing my opinions or after I'm done reading stuff for the day. So if that happens, I most likely won't talk about it unless there's like a big bombshell or something like super important that comes out that I want to talk about in relation to the game. But until now, I'm just sitting tight for the beta or the official trailer, and hopefully we'll get some answers on some of my questions about how the game's going to feel, how the maps are going to go, and stuff like that. Like I did mention, I am going to be doing a huge marathon streaming every single Call of Duty campaign. I don't know if we're going all the way back to like the original Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3, but we will definitely start with Modern Warfare COD 4 and work our way up from there. So I'm super excited for that. Got a couple other variety games that I want to play through first. Currently, I'm playing Lego Batman over on stream. If you guys want to check that out, Twitch is in the description, and the VODs are always in their designated playlist over on my YouTube channel. And I also do stream on the YouTube channel, so if you guys want to find that content, that's always there. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys so much for all the support. Hopefully you guys did enjoy listening to me yap about Call of Duty. I haven't done it in a little bit. It's been about 2 weeks since I've really yapped about some COD, but it's nice to kind of be back in this world. And I do have another Black Ops 7 free run video coming out that I am pretty excited about. So all in all, super excited for the new Call of Duty coming out, as I am every year. Hopefully it hits the mark and fans are happy. I usually enjoy these titles every year. I've had very few misses, but yeah, I'm super excited for Modern Warfare 4 coming out. And as always, thank you guys so much for all the support, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.